NYCFC pitch side, and we are finally back here at BMO Field. And
it's a rainy day.
Rainy day in
It's a depressing day. 3-1 loss, right?
But on the plus, we spoke to Paulo Rossi.
Yeah, we did speak.
We spoke to Paulo
cool.
Rossi.
That's pretty cool. You know what the coolest part was it though? And since we're Toronto-based, we showed him the infamous picture that's in every Italian home. Every single Italian home has this picture of St. Clair, 1982, after Italy won the World Cup, and it's just mayhem.
And the funny thing is, neither one of us were even born when that picture was taken.
No.
I've got it sketched in my head, and there it is.
And there it is. And that's the picture. And you know what? Paolo Rossi already knew of the picture. That's how far this legend goes.
He's got it in his house, he said.
Because every Italian in Italy has, relatives that were probably in this, right?
Oh, yeah. 100%. My dad still tells me I had my brother in the stroller somewhere in here.
Largest population of Italians outside of Italy. Yeah. So, figures that this would happen.
And I may have broken the cardinal rule of media and asked for an autograph, but when it's Paolo Rossi, I would have given up my media credential happily.
Since we're covered, I'm going to get rid of the umbrella. But it was a rainy day and a depressing day at BMO Field. And it's been raining all weekend, and you kind of felt this lack of energy.
Yeah, it's gloomy, it's been depressing, and you know what? Sunday nights at BMO Field just do not work for Toronto FC.
No.
We saw in the home opener against Houston.
Sundays in general, they had the 4-4 tie with New York City FC.
And when New England comes to town, the last time New England came to town,
it was mean.
That's when Nelson got the sack.
That was the Lee Win show too, right?
Yep.
So.
And we'll get to that later on because we did catch up with Jeremy Hall, so we'll talk about what the reaction was like in the New England change room in just a little bit. But what are your thoughts on the game, first and foremost?
Well, we spoke to Greg Vanney post-game, and he one of the first things he said, which was kind of funny to me, was this was one of the best games this team has played all season long. His words, not mine.
So are you disagreeing with the Vanster?
I'm not necessarily disagreeing, but when you lose 3-1, for that to be your first statement out of the gate, it doesn't...
No, and this was a game they had to win. Let's be honest here, because when you look at the table, New England was 3 points ahead of Toronto coming into the game. They're now 6 points ahead. Granted, New England have won 5 straight, unbeaten in 7, but you go to New York on Wednesday, banged up, bruised. We know Jovico looked great today.
It's a must-win.
It's a must-win.
Against those teams, those bottom 4 teams in the East right now, they don't look like they're going to win another game all season long. They are all really going in the poop hole. But getting back to that the whole thing that Vanney said, I understand where he's coming from, but I didn't like that's the way he started his press conference, really. He didn't have to. It's not like he was led into that direction. He was just asked, how did you feel about today's game?
But was he pulling a Mourinho and just kind of defending his players?
No, because you look at the stat sheet, and it's like 21 shots for TFC, 6 for New England. 80% of the time, the team with 21 shots is going to win that game.
Yeah.
And only because New England ended up winning is it said, well, they played a perfect road game. No, TFC beat themselves today.
Own goal, the Michael Bradley error. The second goal, hats off to Diego Fagundes. That was a fantastic finish. But, when you go down 1-0 in 4 minutes' time, own goal, Perkis finally sees the pitch again. That's how you started off. Was it rust? Vanney said it wasn't. It just kind of...
Yeah, he was just kind of ugly to start the game, period. And I'm sure Perkis, if you asked him that, which we didn't because everybody was gone post-game.
What did you think? Sorry to interrupt. What did you think of that 3-5-2? Did you like the 3 center backs and the 2 out wide players coming back on defense and pushing up forward?
It's hard to say because they didn't give up a whole ton of chances in this game. I don't know if that was because New England just decided, all right, we're up 2 goals already. What's the point of attacking, really? Or if it was something to do with the way that TFC was pressing. Because you saw at times it was very hard for New England to get out of their own half. And you saw at times that TFC were just absolutely all over them, especially in the first half. For TFC to be down 2-0 at the half was not a good indication of how this game was going. So I do agree kind of with Vanney that they played really well today, but I wouldn't say this was one of their best performances of the season.
No, and I think You're 100% right on that, and I feel like
because a performance encapsulates things that happen on the defensive end as well.
Yeah, and they were shaky at the. But let's give New England credit for taking advantage of their opportunities. That's exactly.
They
what
had 3 shots on goal,
and they were clinical.
They had 3 goals.
Yeah.
There was a time when they had
More
2 shots on goal, or 2 goals and 1 shot on goal.
Yeah.
So I mean, because of the own goal. But funny things like that are going to happen. I don't, I asked Vanny, what do you take? Like, do you take more of the positives or the negatives? And he was like, it was just a lot of individual mistakes. I think the guys know exactly where they went wrong, and we take the positives moving forward.
But then does that speak of New England's experience? Because, good teams find a way to get it done even when they're not playing at their best. Yeah. Today, they found a way to get it done. Like I said, they've got 5 wins. They haven't lost since July, and that was against the Red Bulls, who
second half team. They did it last year, too, right? So you're kind of right on that. The experience, we've seen New England do this before. They're kind of doing it again. They rode it all the way to the MLS Cup final last year. So, yeah, it's a bit of a trend in that direction for this team. But TFC, you want a home playoff game, and now you're 6 points behind that. And we were discussing this just before the show.
We were.
Like, if you get into the playoffs, if you sneak in, which TFC are going to do, it's almost a foregone conclusion at this point. If you sneak in and you get one of those playoff games, the 1-game elimination, and it's not at home, and you lose that first game, does it even feel like you're in the playoffs?
You know what? That's exactly what happened to Carl Robinson, Vancouver Whitecaps last year against FC Dallas, and no, it didn't feel like it because it's a 1-game, and chances are it's a middle week game, so it'll probably be a Wednesday night or Thursday night, and if you don't play in front of your home fans who have been here for 9 years praying to see one postseason game, it won't feel the same.
Yeah.
Let's shoot to our interview with Jeremy Hall, though, because we did catch up with him. Former TFC player, had nothing but positive things to say about the city, and even off camera, just full of praise for Toronto, and he will be here this offseason, so keep an eye out for him. Jeremy Hall. First off, welcome back to Toronto. New BMO Field. You see the extended version. What do you think of it so far?
Oh, it looks great, man. It's fans were great as well. It's good to be back out there. The pitch is great, and it's good to see a lot of good friends. So it's good to be back.
Is there a little bit more when you play Toronto, a former team, especially in Toronto? Is there a little more incentive for you?
Yeah, it was a big one for me, man. I really embraced the city when I was here, and I love it. It's I don't know, man. It's just like kind of like a home away from home. So I love coming back up in the city. Have a lot of friends, girlfriend here. So yeah, it was good to be back, and especially to get a win added to it as well.
Yeah, you guys are on a 5-game winning streak right now. 7 games unbeaten. What's been working? What's been clicking for you guys recently?
I know, right? I think it's just been our team defense. It's been 11 guys working behind the ball, and as you see today, we didn't have a lot of it, but we were tough to break down, and I think they got a couple, chances here and there, a little bit unlucky, but I think came up with some big saves, and we just worked hard. We knew it was going to be a tough place to play, just with, them being right behind us in the standings. We were going to have to grind out a result, so got a little bit lucky with the first goal, but it was a great ball, good cross, and then, we just kept battling, and we knew if we continued to do what we've been doing previously, then we'd come up with 3 points.
Jovinko showed his brilliance today, but you guys still were able to shut him down. What's your mindset when you play a player like that or anywhere else like that in the league?
Yeah, these guys, they're special, and, the thing is, you're just going to try and have to limit their chances. They're good players, so they're going to get a couple off, but, we're lucky that none of the free kicks hit the target, and we just try and limit it as well. And then there was everybody working behind the ball, so credit to everybody. We're a little tired, but it feels great.
Now, we just heard some Drake bumping in the locker room. Is that just a Toronto thing, or is that usually what you guys are bumping in New England too?
Yeah, we have a little bit of everything. Our music game is everybody has all the hip stuff, so we're playing all the good stuff.
Sunday night in Toronto, you here for the night, or you guys taking off right away?
No, we're actually here, but we have a quick turnaround. We play New York on Wednesday, which is another massive one for us. So we did a little bit of recovery on the field and just trying to get our bodies back and get ready for that one.
So you guys sharing a flight with TFC or what? Because they're headed to New York to play the New York City FC too.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't even know what they're doing, but good luck to them. Perfect,
thank you. And happy belated
so
birthday, man.
Oh, I know.
Enjoy it.
Appreciate
it.
Yeah.
What you didn't catch on camera was the New England locker room and multiple players talking about Jovinko's silly back heel nutmeg when he pulled the back
No,
heel.
it was a Zidane back heel nutmeg.
Whatever you want to call that. Greg Vanny actually called it the greatest play he's ever seen in his life.
It was
Post-game.
stupid. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Somebody asked it to Javinko post-game, and he was just like, I don't know, it just happened. You know? Like,
But it was
that's
funny.
just pure skill.
But
That's
it's funny because the New England players in the locker room were talking about how they couldn't even look at the replay because they were slowing it down in slow motion for the fans, and they showed it like 5-6 times, and the players didn't even want to look up.
Why would you want to look up?
but-
Like, if you're the defender that got that just humiliated there, you don't want anything to do with that.
No, but this team does have a chance to regain some confidence. They go into Yankee Stadium where the Jays just took 3 of 4. Can TFC?
Dominate New York? We're finishing each other's sentences now. It's cute.
Let's hope they can, though. That's what
I
I'm
know.
thinking.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, look, New York's a really bad team. They have some interesting players, and TFC's actually struggled against them this year. So it's not a good sign for TFC because I really do think New York is a bad team. They're poorly put together.
And the results, will
The
back
results
up
are
what you're
showing
saying.
that, yeah. And I mean, when they came here and they beat TFC, they just beat the crap out of Javinko, and they did whatever they had to do, and it was ugly, and it was frustrated the heck out of TFC. And then the other game was just an absolute gong show at Yankee Stadium, where no
field.
defense was played on either side of the field,
and
and
it's
there
a
was
smaller
4
field.
penalties called.
Yep.
4 penalties in the same game. It's a weird one.
Yeah, and it's a small field, but it almost seems like the perfect place for a Sebastian Jovico hat trick. We saw it the first time around. Are they really going to need something special from him again to earn a result?
Look, they had plenty of chances today. Robbie Finley's been playing really well the last couple of weeks. Excited to see that from him because, you know, he struggled early on this season, really finding his place in the team.
Altidore almost unnoticeable today, though, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess he can go through those stretches. He does have moments where he holds up the ball and links with Bradley sometimes really well. But for the most part, he was a little bit unnoticeable today. I will agree there.
So, going into Yankee Stadium, what changes, if any, would you personally make?
I want Shea Rue back in the team.
That's a big one. I know Vanny did say he's training
And Colin
again.
Warner. I mean, they missed that help in the midfield, really.
Warner was warming up.
Warner?
Yeah, he was warming up.
Well, he wasn't allowed to play. Suspended.
But
Yeah.
still, it's good to see.
No,
him
yeah,
play.
he's healthy, but he was suspended for the last 2 games. You know, TFC missed those guys, the real workers in midfield.
And Sharon
if
does
you
not
will.
get the credit. I mean, we always praise him, but he doesn't seem to get the credit he deserves on media or mainstream media because maybe you don't always see what he does. He's not the flashiest of players, but he's one of those guys that you need in the middle of the park to kind of hold things down, and that's exactly what he does. Hopefully he'll be here on Wednesday, in New York on Wednesday. Vanny did say he's training with the team, and maybe want to give him an extra day's rest knowing how short of a week it is with the Sunday, then Wednesday.
Yeah.
Very weird to play 2 games within, 3 days?
Yeah, and it's also weird that Javinko got 90 minutes off
Yeah.
the adductor injury, but he looked good throughout the whole game. Probably
Yeah.
could have scored a hat trick.
We had dinner with Paulo Rossi last
Yeah.
He's good, bro.
Javinko had his chances to score, maybe just missing that sharpness from not having been on the field for the last couple of weeks. But this was brought up to me by our wonderful producer. Do you think the weather plays into New England playing so well here? It seems like every time they come here, it's kind of this
Gloomy,
crappy weather,
depressing,
little rainy, chilly, just depressing, and then all of a sudden TFC,
Faster pitch.
a little bit of a faster pitch as well. Yeah, that makes sense. And TFC can't seem to keep up with them.
Yeah, and it's...
Well, they kept up with them today. They dominated the
I
game.
mean, that's the thing. TFC did dominate. Let's not make any mistakes about it. They dominated possession. They just couldn't take advantage
They
of their
dominated
opportunities.
possession. They had their fair share of
Yeah, and
chances.
they had their shots, but they couldn't take advantage when the time was right, and that's where New England give them full credit for. They were clinical when they had to be.
Yeah, and I think I didn't really look back at all of my notes from all the season, but it feels like TFC outshoot their opponents almost all the time. And a lot of the time we end up talking about results like this where individual mistakes and individual errors kind of play a huge factor in the game.
And you guys brought up Shea Rue needing to come back. Does that Michael Bradley turnover in the box happen if Shea Rue's in the back?
Well, Shea Rue is the one collecting that ball.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Also, now that Vanny's been here little over a year. Are you satisfied with the job he's done, and do you think he's the right man leading this team forward?
I don't think there's anyone better right now because there's just not a whole lot of sexy names around MLS, you know? Like Bob Bradley's not coming to coach TFC anytime soon. So, I mean, sorry to burst everyone's bubble. I don't think Vanny's done a horrible job, you know? Like, he's made some interesting moves this year. Don't always agree with his tactics. Doesn't always have the players available to play the tactics that he wants to play. But we've never seen a team here in Toronto be able to move forward so well. And we've never seen the development of young players like we've seen under Greg Vanney as well. Like Ashton Morgan, Jonathan Osorio, Zavaletta's played really well, Delgado. Like, there's some really good things that Vanney's done that I don't think people point out a lot. And look, you're in a playoff spot. Part of the reason TFC never gets into the playoffs is because there's always change happening. Yes, Greg Vanney is a young coach, and he's still learning on the job. But he's done a pretty good job of it so far.
Yeah, he has. And we will be back here Saturday for Colorado TFC. New York TFC Wednesday night. 2 games TFC has to take.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If they want a home playoff game, they need to win 6 points in the next 7 days.
And that should be the goal right now.
Yep, home playoff game. And, you know, there's still slim opportunity to get into the top 2 spots, but it's a long shot. But, you know, you got your 6 home games left here, so
sure. And they gotta
win
watch.
them.
They gotta watch out for the Impact because the Impact are just 5 points behind with 2 games in hand. So anything can happen there.
Anything can happen. Anyone can win. That's what we say here in Ontario, right? OLG,
Ball is
baby.
round.
All right. Well, this has been another edition of TFC Pitchside. We'll probably be releasing that Paolo Rossi interview somewhere.
Yes,
so
will.
check out for it at Riccio590.
At Kubani7.
And we are at TFC_Pitchside for the best TFC photos around on Instagram.
Keep on, keep running.
Listen, I'm from that bay. We're slanging Rich and Ace, don't even know what cats say. 06, I remember back in that day. A rubber band around a broken CD player slapping Mac Dre. And back then it was Jabos wearing bigger clothes. The bay was popping, keep the sneak, had different flows. But when 07 came to hyphy movements, window closed. Hearts broke, but fuck it, that's the way this business goes. But Uncle 40 Water kept it going.